APTA, APTI, IPA, HAB, IFGB, members of the reviewers, MS Research Australia, Research Member Council, the Australian Member Healthcare Advisory Boards, Canada, ABF, International Science and Development INC, Asian Science Council Editor, Canada, Registered of the Odisha State Boards of the Pharmacy Council, member of the PCI panels. He is the scientific Dr. Settis Laboratory Private Limited, is a pharmaceutical and nutraceuticals innovative council supported by DBT BIRSC, Sinopro Healthcare Limited. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Now we can start your presentations.
Yeah, thank you, Majinder. My voice audible to you?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me share my screen. My screen visible, madam?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Majinder madam, for introducing me. And I really thankful the UTI University for giving this opportunity to deliver my speech for this 1 week faculty development program with the theme of multidisciplinary approaches in pharmaceutical education and research, with my topic applications of quality by design and formulation by design in drug delivery system. So, my dear delegates and faculty friends, as you know, most of the universities, institutions are organizing such type of faculty development programs for the young faculty members. The reason behind to improve your translational research skills and the teaching skills. In past 10 years before, if you could see, AICT, other learning bodies, statutory bodies, they're sponsoring to conduct such faculty development program or the quality improvement program. But institutions like UTS and other universities, they have created such a platform for the young faculty members, at least to attend such type of program or forum where you could expertise your teaching learning abilities. So that's why multidisciplinary approach is not only applicable to your domain of pharmaceutical sciences, it will applicable for all the interdisciplinary research. So my topic for this today presentation is applications of quality by design and the formulation by design in drug delivery system. My quick part of the flow of presentation for this session, I want to discuss about the various optimizations possibles, design of experiment, quality by design, formulations by design, experimental by design, and what are the different types of design space variants, and its regulatory importance. FDA 4-point industrial strategies, design space confidence interval and desirability functions, and what are the computer uses and different software used for systematic formulations by design optimization of different drug delivery system, and a few examples of experimental case studies
हाँ
in
हाँ
the
हाँ मीटिंग में
applications
छुपा
and RPGs.
हो ना
So,
कौन
dear
लगता
friends, as you know, as you are the teacher in
हम
the
लोग भी मीटिंग
universities
करते हैं
and
ज़्यादा
BBA, so what will be the quality of the teaching?
चाहे तो खादी
The
बुलाए
most important thing is that caring and nurturing the students. And always you have to connect the students with your experience in the domain specific area. Because every teacher needs to improve not because they are not good enough, but because they can be even better. So that's why you are attending such programs. You want to become a more efficient in prevails faculty members, faculty coordinating and so that's why you are attending such type of faculty development programs. So applications of quality education is very, very important nowadays, not only in pharma sector, in each and every domain of academics. So all students deserve equal access to high quality education. So maintain the quality education's quality teacher is very very important. So that's why my topic of choice is quality by design. As you know that Janet Gupta, she is the director of Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. In the year 2013, she gave a very good statement what will be the change ahead for industrial perspectives. You know, a maximally efficient, agile, flexible pharmaceutical manufacturing sectors that reliably produces high quality drug products without extensive regulatory oversights. Because a few years before, without quality by design or without quality teacher, there is a sustainability of students' admission, students, strength is a question mark. So, like that in pharma industries, to maintain the quality products, commercialization of such product into domestic market, you have to change certain things in the pharma sector. So, what are the things is required, and how to overcome such regulatory issues? So, change behind the success is nothing but a drug delivery system development. Every drug delivery system always will be balanced first, and each and every drug delivery system includes the API pharmaceutical ingredients along with the other excipients with their good characteristics, whether the single excipient or bunch of excipients or plethora of excipients you are using to control the drug release for a particular drug delivery system, if it is sustained release, immediate release, or delayed release. You are using surfactant also, one of the part of the excipients for manufacturing self-emulsifying drug delivery system. Liquids you are using emulsion preparation, you are using emulsion, suspension preparation, suspending agents. Like that, what are the process of techniques you are adapting during the day-to-day formulations process, whether it is in laboratories or in the pilot scale or industrial scales? Every time you have to understand that what kind of excipients you are using and what is the applicability of such excipients, especially for the performance of the drug characteristics. The beautiful examples I can tell you here, at a times during day-to-day life, it is not that easy to take too much decision, because now you are in the faculty in the position of as an assistant professor, assistant professor, lecturer, or whatever the position may be. But you have to, satisfy to your boss or department heads or your authorities. But how it is possible? Because if you give multiple tasks at a time, the selection is very important. Which tasks, which work is very important. How so that your boss or your next senior can satisfy your selections process. Like the example here, I can eat into this spicy dress or I can enjoy this delicious ice cream. Because there is a question mark, because whether you want to select the ice cream or the dress. So the sweet tooth versus the sweet things. Because always want two things at a time, it's not possible. But you have to balance yourself, which is most priority thing than the second. So everybody, everyone in the different situations has diverse duties to perform, to different persons to please. So with dissimilar needs, demands and tastes, as myriad options to choose from, the ultimate aim has always been to be balanced, happy and content. That is the meaning of each and every individual's work environment. Because without facing the situations, without getting the proper experience in your domain area, and then you can't satisfy to anybody else. So that's why you have to balance yourself to be always happy and contented yourself in the area of your academics. But how you have to do all these things? So only by choosing a few vitals among them and optimizing their use rationally. Because applicability of optimization tools or selecting any vitals parameters among the thousands of parameters, but the selections criteria is always depends on your part of experience. But what actually the optimization? The optimization is the key to keep things in the balanced and thoroughly managed. You have to, whether you keep in one or two students or single student, but you have to balance it according to the, your selections criteria. Because when thousands applications is coming for single position, out of thousands applicants, 4 or 5 members they are selected. Why should the research behind is that optimizations. So the optimizations process can be performed by the applications of design of experiment in the formulations, especially in pharma sector, in pharmaceutical industries. But what actually the DOE? The DOE means it is a rational approach that enables team to learn about product or process behaviors. So what is the product behavior you have to understand? You have to know the process during the manufacturing operations and what are the different experiments you are performing, the number of experiments you are doing, and you have to get each and every studies and the single study or multiple studies analysis you have to do with the applications of DOE. So the DOE refers to laying out a detailed plan of structured experiments based on appropriate statistical criteria in advance to performing the experiments. Because whenever you want to plan any experiment, any new experiment, you have to define your experiment properly. You have to measure your experiment, you have to analyze your experiment, and you have to improve if it is required, and you have to control the experiment with the applications of DOE software or optimization tools. So that's why they have several advantages, merits about the DOE technique, design of experiment techniques. Two of them I can discuss here because it requires pure experiments. Without applications of DOE, you have to do multiple experiments. But if you would apply DOE, you have to do very limited experiment forms, and you have to find out or trace out the best possible solutions among the thousands populations, and you can easily finding the important and unimportant input variables and the robust quality formulations you can assess easily, and you can save your time, your resources, and you can minimize the regulatory issues, regulatory problems with your products, and you can compete with the existing product or formulations. So what are the scientists say in the world towards? According to the different scientists, Abu Zaltons, what actually he said, systematic optimizations using experimental designs is time and cost efficiency, ensuring high formulations quality. Because you want to maintain the quality of the formulations, and not only the quality of the formulation, you have to require less time, and the cost will be very less. So then only you can say that yes, doing is best for that particular formulas. For example, Shingitol, he suggested that it is an integral phenomenon globally in drug delivery, especially in the industrial developments. If industry want to apply, DOE concept or quality by design concept or optimization tools, any tools, then definitely they can do the scale of development of the pharmaceutical products. Like that, some other scientists because these techniques are no longer in presence of the experts, enthusiasts are becoming the standard tools in the management system. But who is James Jordan? He is the scientist, he is the first person, coined terms quality by design concepts. According to his concept, he proposed that quality could be planned in the first place to avoid quality crisis by building quality into the profession. Because if you want to place quality faculty in academic field, then you should first understand that what are the parameters you have to avoid and what are the parameters you have to, select. That is very important, like that in formulations. So if you want to develop your formulation in industry or in academic field, in academic laboratories or in the pilot scale that you can implement in the laboratories or in the commercial aspects. So there are generations of the product, there is a huge requirements of number of trials. But industry, what they are doing, they are applying the qualified design concept or DOE concept or optimization tools to verify that what are the product failures, what are the edge failures, and what are the errors associated during the formulations or manufacturing operations. To verify all these things, they are applying the quality by design concept or formulation by design concept in each and every stages of the scale. So what is the new things is related to the QBDs? What actually the QBDs is and why it is new for anybody else? Because no doubt you heard about the QBDs, but still again you are attending the sessions to understand the applicability of the QBDs in your day-to-day research work. But QBD is a cultural encompassing quality principle and strong compliance to it. Because if you would apply QBDs, none of the persons will ask that what is your failure. because you will get always the success rate. And the second, typically refocuses attentions and resources on what is important to the customers. Because customers always need the quality products. Patient, the health professionals, distributor chains, everybody want the quality product should be available in the market. Whether it is generic or branded. Everything is applicability by the quality concern. You have to analyze yourself that PPT incorporate elements of risk assessment and management. Automatically, it will manage your risks associated during the product development stages. And PPT is the most important objective for applications of PPT concept during the drug product development to prepare a very good product, quality product, and that quality product give the quality excellence to the customers, customer satisfaction to a review will be 100%, and the production process will be very smoother and easier. So you not only get this the objective, but you will give the best price with the best quality also. So that's why TBT's resources much more criteria today than ever were in the past. Time saving, money saving efforts, knowledge sharing through media approach, and include the time to market launch the product limited time, and consumer generic decisions like journals feeling of doubt about something. Some product is coming to the market, is somebody having some doubt, but if they knows that yes, there is developed by branded companies, definitely they will upgrade some quality aspects. So this will reduce the cost associated with both qualities because the reject rate will be very less. Improve, minimize the post approval changes is something post market surveillance part also you can minimize, and within short time you can develop everything. Every product will be a quality manner, and you can increase your profit margins in the market. But in FPT, friends, FPT formulation by design optimization approach always needs 5 steps. If you want to prepare yourself any formulation, any kind of drug delivery system, whether the nanoparticle or microparticles or macroparticles or self-emulsifying gastroenteritis or lipid. So always you have to remember that 5 stages or steps for applications of methodology during the formulation by design optimization process. The step one is that you have to understand, you have to define your formulation objectives, that which formulation you want to prepare and what is your aim and objective to prepare such formulations, and what are the influence of variables that you put during the manufacturing process, like what are the excipient you are using and why you are changing the excipient concentrations, and what will be the effect of changing the concentration or the amount of excipient with respect to the quality attributes, that means response variables. Then the delivery system formulation development you have to do as per the applications of the suitable design of experiment, and you evaluate the prepared formulations as per the suggestions given by the designer. Then next stage, the fourth stage, you have to modelize or you have to analyze the data, and after analyzing the data, you have to search for optimum formulation or optimized way. Then lastly, you have to validate your data, optimize formulations data, and if it is required, you have to do the scale up, and finally, you have to send it to the productions department for work for manufacturing stage or the high quality product developments. But the key to formulation by design, experimental designs, always we have to remember it is a strategy to set out experiments such that the information required is obtained as efficiently and precisely as possible. Because whenever you want to prepare any formulations, you have to apply your experiment. That experiment information is very important. In the applications of the statistical designs, you have to define your size, you have to define your number of experiments you are to prepare, and you have to allocate, and appropriately you have to do formulations to the required concentrations of the solvent or harvesting media or the excipient concentrations. And the experimental design applications is always not at the end stage, from beginning of your formulations or during the formulations. So during the beginning of the formulation, this means you have to do the screening designs to stress out the preliminary trials, best formulations, batches. Then response of these designs to find out to search best possible optimized batch. And these are the few experimental design during the formulation process, like FD, CCD, PPD, SMD, and OD and FD, all including the adversary designs, all included under the response of this design. Whereas optimal designs, fractional vector designs, adversary designs, packet command designs, also under screening designs. According to your applicability of the variables, that what type of variables you are using and the number of variables you are using, the different type of responses you are applying during the screening process or response of this process. So then only you have to define whether you are directly applying the response of this design or packet command designs. See, the next important part of my discussion in this presentation, design space. What actually the design space? Design space, it is a multi-dimensional combination and interactions of the materials attributes and process parameters which provide assurance of quality, change, regulatory efforts. Because if you play within the playground, then there is a chance to failure within the playground. But if you play outside the playground, so then there is chance of failure, no failure. So the design space means whatever you want to do within the particular range, only you have to change your formulation variables. Then only you will get the product optimized edge out of 100 trials. Out of the 100 trials, if you want to find out the single formulation, then you have to change something within the design space. And the movement within the design space is not a change. Remember. And out of the design space, you require prior regulatory approval. Because why you want such variability, 10 to 50% variability? Is there any literature's evidence with you or any regulatory changes is required for that particular changes? So that's why regulatory part of the design space is always on board. CPP, critical process parameter, critical material attribute, critical formulations attributes. My dear friends, critical process parameters means that what are the process you are applying and what are the techniques you are using and what are the materials you are using and what are the formulations attributes you have adapted during the manufacturing operations. Otherwise, there is a chance of edge failures. You see, suppose you want to prepare 6 formulations, and out of the 6 formulations, how many within the design space, within the control space? Because if you could see the 4 space, one is control space, the second one is the design space, third one is knowledge space, fourth one is the explorable space. But out of the 4 spaces, the control space and design space is very, very important for the scientists, formulation scientists. They want to play with this particular design space range on. The particular designs you can change your variability of different existing concentration or amount. According to that, you will get your desired responses variabilities. But in the knowledge space and explorable space, there is a chance of failure of your formulation. So you see, all these formulations, whatever you are prepared by any of the formulation, any of the drug delivery system, you have to always consider your particular process parameter, critical material attributes, what type of polyphenols, what type of excipient you use, what is the concentration you have used, what are the techniques you have adapted, what are the harvesting medias you have used, and what are the other quality attributes you adapted during the formulation process. Otherwise, there is a chance of edge failure of the complete evaluation process, which shows that edge failure of each and every formulations. But if you control each and every parameters, each and every attributes, whether it is formulations or materials, then definitely you will get the success. And the success is going to be 50% success initially you get. 3 out of the 6 formulations, 3 will be in the design space or control space, and the remaining will be the edge space. Because the important of the design space is that binary constant, which is considered to ensure the robustness of the design space. And the second important is that illustrate understanding of parameter interactions. Not only include critical and non-critical parameters, both of the design space should be validated and operational at full scale. Otherwise, there is a chance of failure. how it happens.
इधर लगा तुम दे दो
So
ये बोल
within the control space, you can do your density part. Whether you want to
के
refer
बताओ
100
क्या बोल रहा हूँ
formulations
बताओ
or 20 formulations or 10
जब खत्म
formulations,
होगा
whatever it is,
मुझे कल
it
कर
depends
देना
on
अपना
the
चैनल।
control
मैं कर
space
दूंगा जाओ
or within the design space only. Suppose
थैंक यू
beyond the
बोलो और
design space
सर्टिफिकेट
or within your knowledge
थैंक यू
space,
ट्रांसमिशन
there is a chance of failure. Within the knowledge
ए
space
पार्टी करेंगे
also
यार
there is
सैटरडे को
so if you
हाँ
do
क्या इतना
business
मेहनत कर रहे
design
हैं नहीं
space
क्या
also or control
सैटरडे को
space,
खाना नहीं देगा तो
so you are
कोई इवेंट नहीं
extending
बनेगा
the
आगे
process parameter
हाँ
1 and parameter 2 in any formulation.
जो भी हो कुछ भी
Parameter
हो
1
चावल
particular
है कुछ
forms
खाना
are
बना बनना
final
चाहिए
formulation.
कुछ भी बनना चाहिए बस
So
खाना
what actually this indicates,
ऐसे
figure
कंजूसी
indicates
करेंगे तो नहीं होगा
the large square. This is the large
हैं
square. So the
चलेगा
primary range is
शुद्ध आलू
tested in the
चोखा या
formulation
शाक भाजी
depends. The
घालला
red area, these are the red area. This
डाळ
is the
मग घालला
forward. This is the points of failure point. And this green area is the points use that sources. So within this, if you prepare any formulations, which is then definitely there is chance of sources. But whatever the beyond this design space or control space, if you want to prepare any formulations, then there is chance of failure. So design space can represent the green rectangles by using ranges forms. And the design space in product requirement can change as per the market needs or federal complaints, resulting in different operating conditions. But why expand a design space when these design expansion is possible? Dear faculty members, you remember design space have two things. One is why you expand the design space. For example, if we have given specific range, specific area or dimensions, as a population scientist, if you want to change from 10 to 50 range to 10 to 100, why you want to change from 50 to 100? Why you expand and what will be the result? When is a design space expansion is possible? If it is possible up to 70 or 80, you can do it. But after 70 or after 80, if you are changing the range, then what are the consequences you are facing? So that's why case A and case B. Case B is that when the original design space was artificially constrained for simplicity. Case B, when strong edges of the design space are the same as edges of the knowledge space. See, for example, this is the temperature, this is the parameter 1, and heat weight is the parameter 2. This is the expansion. You see, this is the expansion when the original design space was artificially constrained for simplicity. But what will be the design space expansions? You are changing the range from 50 to 70 or 70 to 80, but not 100. See, this is the temperature and this red area is nothing but it is the failure, this is the sources. But this is the total is the first figure indicate that is the complete success range, whether you are expanding the ranges within the control space or design space, there can be no problem. In case A, when the original design space was artificially constrained for simplicity, alternate combinations of ranges could be chosen as the new design space based on the original data. I told you these red areas, the large square. This is the large square represent the ranges tested in the formulation design. The red area is always the points of values, and the green area is always the points of success. Because whether it is a complete space or a design space, whatever the formulations you want to develop, there is a chance of success. Like case B, when some edges of the design space are the same as the edges of the knowledge space, then additional experiments will be performed to expand the upper limits. But in this case, if you want to expand, there is a chance of failure both because you are going from 50 to 70 or 80. But there is a chance of failure of 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 75 or 80. So case B always you have to reject, but case A always you have to prefer. See what are the design space variants. What will be the reason? Because you see the knowledge space, not actually the knowledge space. So design space 1, 2, 3. So in first case of the design space, this is the normal operating range. In 2, that is the alternative operating range. So alternative means suppose 10 to 50, that is 1. 50 to 80, that is the 2. That is the alternative operating range. But in both the cases, you can't believe in both the cases in pharma industries or in academic field, whatever it is, no regulatory sufficiency. But in R&D case, R&D small scale operations, you will do 100 mg or 200 mg. But when it goes to production department, they can't do for 100 drug or 200 mg of polymers. They will add more quantity of drug and excipient. So that's why they will be very serious about the design space constraints and variabilities, because otherwise there is a chance of regulatory submission requirements. So in third stage, what happens, third variant, is abnormal operating rates after 80. That means after 80, example, that is the abnormality operating rates. So that is beyond your knowledge. There is a chance of more failure. So you see, we are actually preparing the formulation in three design space best. One is lab scale, that is academic field. Pilot scale in industry, that is in the technology transfer field, which is the intermediate stage. But in both the cases, no regulatory importance. But when we go for commercial scale development, if you are applying the design space concept, then definitely you have to understand what the regulatory problems or regulatory issues may come in the future. So how will you overcome such regulatory issues? Whether it is FDA related issues or ICS related issues or quality by designs related issues or excipient related, formulation related, whatever the conditions may be. But you have to understand that regulatory importance is mostly in case of commercial scale design specific, not in the pilot or the lab space. Why so? Because we have to begin with end in the mind that developmental studies means any formulation development studies, you have prior knowledge, you have to understand about your product, you have to understand about your process, what you want to apply, and what are the risks associated during the formulations, during the product, or during the processing flow, and how you have to apply the PAID tools or TPTs, process analytical tools, or what are the PAID related analysis starting from pharmaceutical drug development till the commercial operations. In intermediate exit phase, you don't need to understand about the regulatory things. But once you have to reach into the commercial stage, then you have to understand about the regulatory part. Otherwise, it's a big problem because you don't know anything about the design space. Manufacturing experience is very important, whether it is in academic field or in industry fields. Enhance your understanding about the product or process, and you have to improve yourself continuously during your each failures. And the regulatory flexibility is know what kind of flexibilities may applicable in your formulation and what type of formulation you are preparing. If you are preparing injectables, what the regulatory guidelines says. If you are preparing other dosage forms or the non-oral products or dermal products or vaginal products, suppositories or any kind of delivery system you are preparing. So each and every process you have to verify properly. Otherwise, there is a challenge. One example with the design space I can tell you. Suppose you are selecting one CQA, critical quality attribute, one CQA and two CFA. Difference means two parameters, critical formulation attributes. CFA means two critical formulation attributes, one critical quality attribute. So one critical attribute, what actually the dissolution percentage of drug dissolvents, or dissolution percentage. That is the one critical quality attribute. When the word is quality, that means the response. What type of friability percentage, what will be the hardness of the tablet, what will be the drug permeabilities, what will be the drug absorptions, like that. That will be the qualities. And the formulation, critical formulation attribute means what is the concentrations of the binder, concentration of lubricant, concentration of glycans, concentration of surfactants, 2 in 20 or span 20. What type of formulations you are preparing and what is the excipients you are using, that is the parameter 1 and parameter 2. And how it is impacting to the selected or desired response, that will be the your critical quality attributes. And this 3D, this image is the 3D image or the response of this image. This is the 2D image or counterplot image. So parameter 1, how it is showing, and this is part of the graph. It's different types, certain type, upper, maximum, minimum. This is the upper limit. Upper limit means there is a variability of increasing the percentage of resolutions by increasing the concentrations of the parameter 1 or parameter 2 in both the cases. Whatever the parameter 1 or what type of excipient you have selected for parameter 1 and what type of excipient you have selected for parameter 2, in both the cases there is a maximum impact towards the desired response, that is dissolution percentage. And the range, this is this range is indicated, this is the 2D plots, and the 2D plots always shows the type of design space or control space. Beyond the control space, there is a failure. You see, for example, you are selecting two critical quality attributes, critical formulation attributes. Two critical attributes, quality attributes, that is friability and dissolution. Drug tablet dissolution and tablet friability. So the dissolution design space, this is the dissolution design space, including control space. Similarly, this is the friability design space, including friability control space. By selecting both the parameter 1 and parameter 2. But when both things you have to consider at a time, both are the counter products. The combination of counter product is the overlay products. That means the design space of multiple attributes. And these overlay products indicate what? That is the combined design space for both the critical quality attributes by selecting two different parameter of critical formulation attributes. And within the combined design space, you have to control your parameter 1, parameter 2, so that you can control both resolution as percentage as well as friability of the tablet. If we go for 4 critical quality attributes and 2 critical formulation attributes. So 4 means what? Particle size, entrapment efficiency, drop release, 20% drop release, zeta potential in case of emulsions or nano formulations, right? Then what are the 2 critical formulation attributes you have selected? For example, one surfactant, another is co-surfactant, between 80 and 150. Both you have used and both you have to change from potent values from -1 to 1. -1 means that is the low levels, lower concentration of the excipients, materials, and similarly -1 for between 80 and +1 is the higher concentration. So the intermediate concentration is always with the 0 because -1 +1 divided by 2, that will be the 0. So like that, for each case, whatever the critical quality attributes you have selected or critical formulation attribute you have selected, always you have to cross and understand the design space for all the 4 parameters to the selected 2 critical formulation attributes. Then within this range of design space, you can find out that what is the concentration of computaral is required, whether this -1 concentration is required or 0 is required or +1 is required, so that you will get the best zeta potential values within plus or minus 30 millivolts or the nano range particle size. Entrapment efficiency will be better, you will get, as well as the drop release, 20% drop release within the specific durations according to your critical quality attributes or target product profiles, quality target product profiles. So by combining this, you got like this. This will be the design space. That white regions is indicate that the design space, and within the design space, the red point, what it indicates, the size you are getting 0.1, entrapment is 85%, drop is 77%, zeta potential 21, and with the 2 parameter x and y with the minus values. So that indicates that this is the optimized base for selected 4 critical quality attributes with 2 critical formulations attributes. systems is rationally used, because as you know that overhead, or actually overhead, one variable at a time. And if you want to apply the formulation designs, then whatever the variability is there, the single variable changes a lot of things. For example, the concentration of binders not only changing the probability, change the you know isolations and other parameters fast. Then the next one will be at a time. Tablet, microsphere, nanoparticles, vesicular drug delivery system, macroparticular drug delivery system, pastries, sets, solid dispersants. If you compare, systematically they have the applied the optimization tools, and mostly the